What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We got some stuff to talk about today. Ooh, looking good. You guys, subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. Let's make this happen. You guys saw the title of this one. Oh God, I might be an idiot. Oh my goodness, Celsius, just give me the sponsorship now, wouldn't you? I've had to make some very difficult decisions over the last few weeks. My goodness. You guys remember a couple of videos ago, I asked for some good wishes, some positive vibes. Keep your fingers crossed. I was working on something big. Well, I got to give you guys an update. I've had a couple of key themes, a couple of key things on my mind lately, and then one massive thing popped up out of the blue, unexpectedly, wasn't looking for it, and oh my God, it kind of threw a wrench in everything. First thing, ultimately, I'd love to do YouTube full time. I'd like to be a YouTuber, or use YouTube as a vehicle to sort of advance a couple other ideas that I got floating around in the old brain case. Right? I want to do this kind of stuff permanently. I want this to be my job. I was going to tell you this whole long, drawn out story about sort of the whole process of everything that's been going on over the last couple of weeks, and the reason that I was sort of sparse in my uploads over the last couple of weeks was because I was actually interviewing for a really substantial new career position, a position I never really thought of as being available, and something I sort of gave up on because it combined the experience really that I've developed and acquired over the last 10 or 12 years or so as a professional, but also was in a realm or in a field that I studied in college, which is sort of a unicorn combination these days. It's an all too common occurrence these days for people to spend thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans and in a college education, and actually get a position or a job, start a career in an area that is completely different from what they studied. And that's been my case over the last decade or more, unfortunately, but this was a role that came about that actually combined all of the experience that I've accumulated and acquired over the last 10 or 12 years, but also brought me back into my field of study. So it was a super exciting opportunity, and ultimately what I wanted to do was make a video telling you that I quit my job and I was moving on to something else, something bigger and better, something that was onward and upward for me as my professional career, but one ultimately that would help kind of spur things on with the channel as well. It was a 100% remote position. I was going to be home. I was kind of going to be working at my own pace. And the salary was unbelievable. Unbelievable, let me tell you that. So the hope was that I'd be able to throw more resources at this channel and at this endeavor. Better equipment, better parts, bigger projects, different cars. So it was really exciting, an exciting opportunity. The reason my uploads were a little bit sparse during that 2-week period or so is because I was in a very intense interview process. I had several conversations with the recruiter, then talking to the chief revenue officer for this particular company. Then I had an hour-long interview with this chief revenue officer to sort of ask questions and discuss the particulars of the role, sort of get an outline of what the position entailed. Moved on to the next round then, which was 6 back-to-back 30-minute interviews with the executive team. So individual executives, 30 minutes each, all back-to-back. Really, really intense process. I had asked some really important questions at that point as well. Moved on then to the next round, which was another intense situation, which was I had to create a sales pitch that I would deliver to these executive folks. Again, the same 6 individuals, along with the chief revenue officer. So pretty substantial group of people to try to pitch their company to them. After only having just a couple of days to do some research. But don't forget, I was preparing presentations and sales pitches for my real job for a trip that I actually just got back from Ohio and Indiana. So I was working, but then also trying to work on this interview. But anyway, that was a long process, and that's the reason I only had a couple of videos over that 2-week period or so. So all of that went really well, and I actually had a follow-up conversation with the recruiter, and she said, hey, get references ready. It's time to roll. Everything sounds great. But I started asking some more important questions. Obviously we talked about, the benefits package and salary, and we got some of those things dialed in. And it was all agreeable, all sounded really, really good. But I was getting some information that I really wasn't getting from the people early on, and maybe it was because they just were kind of holding back some of the information just because it was really early on in the process and they didn't want to share too many details as they were weeding through the candidates. But now that I got to this last stage, I really needed to dig in to find out more about the role, some of the expectations, their actual approach to building business, and turns out that it wasn't a good fit. So I wanted this video to be today telling you that I quit my job, moving on to bigger and better things, like I said, but it didn't work out in the end because it would have required me to, I don't want to say settle, but it would have required me to go sort of against who I am and my approach as a professional in these types of roles. It just didn't seem like a good match. Different strategies, different mentalities, different theories. And although the goal, I think, was the same, the main things like the day-to-day operation, the day-to-day approach was just not right, just didn't fit me. So despite a really substantial bump in salary and being able to work from home every day, I had to say no. It wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work for me. I was really bummed for a couple of days, actually, because this was a game changer for myself and my family, my career, potentially. And there's a couple issues with that I want to bring up also while I got you here. But even my wife said, after kind of talking it through, she said, you would have been miserable. And I kind of opened up to her then at that point, and I said I had actually reached a point where I was trying to determine how long I could last just in order to take advantage of the salary for, 6 months, a year. Could I deal with it for a year? And that's sort of the lesson to be told here is don't settle. Don't sacrifice yourself, your mental health, your well-being just for the sake of a title or the sake of a salary. I think this is an important lesson, particularly for you younger guys and gals that are watching that are maybe just getting into your career field or, getting some of your first real jobs. We all obviously have to make sacrifices from time to time and do things that we might not necessarily want to do, maybe as a stepping stone or to gain some experience here or there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think in big picture things, my lesson would be to not settle. Don't sacrifice yourself. I'm tired of doing that. I don't want to do it myself. It's happened to me over the course of the years, taking on roles and positions that I didn't want, but just to get a nicer paycheck. And it's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. You sort of waste your life away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years go by and you start to realize, what was this all for? You made enough money to where you didn't want to leave, but you weren't fulfilled. The job wasn't enjoyable. It was something you weren't passionate about. You couldn't give it your all because it wasn't in you. So I would say make great efforts in developing self-awareness. Figure out what you like in life. Figure out what you don't like. Figure out what you're good at and be honest with yourself in terms of what you're not good at or what you can't make yourself do. Sales is not for everyone, but there's, physical labor is not for everyone. But it's just kind of something you have to know about yourself. And once you really do know yourself and you're honest with yourself about yourself, you can avoid situations that make you uncomfortable, that you don't feel good about, and then you can go home at night knowing that you're not settling. So I'm really, really fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. I wasn't looking for a new job necessarily, but you always have to be open to opportunities. Work with a good team for a good company, and I get to do a lot of the things that I really like to do on my time off and my time away from the office. So I can't complain. I really can't complain, and I'm grateful for the position that I'm in currently. But this was a really amazing opportunity, and I think if they would have just been a little bit more open to exploring an alternative approach, we're just kind of saying, we have faith in what you're saying and what you do and how you do things, and we're going to let you try to take our business to the next level. I know they would have been pleasantly surprised. However, it wasn't in the cards, but this is another point I wanted to make. I'm taking this as a sign. I sort of take everything as a sign, right? I try to find the positives in everything and the reason behind certain things and the way things turn out. And this wasn't a good fit, and maybe it wasn't a good fit for a reason. Maybe I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe I'm in the role that I need to be in order to take this YouTube thing to the next level. And that's sort of how I'm looking at it. I'm telling myself that this is the universe telling me that you're on the right track right now, or that this wasn't the right fit in order to allow you to take the next step. And maybe the right something will come along here in the very near future. But until then, this is what you need to do. So there's a second lesson for you. Number one, don't settle. Don't sacrifice yourself just for a salary or just for a nice title. And number two, try to find the positives, try to find the signs and the reason behind everything that happens in life. It'll make you feel a lot better. And I'd love to quit my job right now and just do YouTube full time, but unfortunately, I still need a consistent paycheck in order to, help my family and just live. So I don't know what that stage is. At what point do you need to be at in order to live on a YouTuber's income? Is it 100,000 subscribers? Is it 500,000 subscribers? I don't know at this point. I'm not quite sure what it takes. I did tell my wife at 150,000 subscribers that she could quit her job. I think just based on ad revenue and some of the extracurriculars that come from having a large following, I think 150,000 I could allow my wife. I could tell my wife that she doesn't have to work anymore. I think that would be fantastic. Obviously, I'd still have to have a job. But I don't know. I don't know what that point is, but I know that now at 21,000 plus subscribers, I'm feeling pretty good. It's been a long road, but things are getting more and more exciting, and I actually have some really exciting news that I'll probably talk about in the next video. So stick around, especially you Q50 guys. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that stage of the game would be. I just know that this is something that I do want to do. And I really am grateful for all of the loyal subscribers that have followed along all of this time, and for every new subscriber that hits that button down below. It's exciting for me, and it's the motivation that I need to continue to go forward. And I enjoy doing it, and I hope we can just continue to improve and take on more and more exciting projects. And who knows what's to come, but we're going to keep on pushing forward, onward and upward, guys. I wish nothing but the best for you, and I appreciate all the good vibes that came through over the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, no big news for you at this time other than a really huge opportunity just didn't work out. So stay positive, keep moving forward. I appreciate you guys watching. That's it for now. We'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned. I'm serious. Exciting stuff coming for the Q50.